thunderstorm warnings pop on up, so let's go ahead and break it down, and I will pop these up full screen for you so you can go ahead and see what I'm talking about up close and personal. So right now, the newest severe thunderstorm warning that just got issued a few minutes after our first one, I'll get to that one in a minute, but Dodge, Telfair, and Wheeler, this will go until 3:15 right here. It looks like the cities of Milan and McRae really seeing the heaviest downpours right here. Milan especially, where that lightning has been bunching all up, so that is within the polygon right here, the southern edge of Dodge, just south of Chauncey, all into the northern portion of Telfair, and then eventually stretching into the southwest portion of Wheeler County as well, just south of Alamo. But still some thunderstorms, pretty strong ones at that, all around Wheeler County into Montgomery and Toombs County as well, around Uvalde and Toombs Central right there. No warning given to that yet, but I imagine due to the heavy rainfall or maybe some hail, according to this latest radar signature, we could possibly see another warning pop on up. That would make 3 here in central Georgia. But this is the most recent one, as I just mentioned, and then the other one goes for Chris. So these are 2 separate boxes that you're seeing here on your screen, and I'll go ahead and put the arrow out so you can see what I'm talking about. So this warning for Chris is its own warning. It's kind of this northern edge of this thunderstorm cell, and then the other warnings extend further down to the southwest of central Georgia in Lee County, down into northern Worth County, and then into Turner County as well, even stretching all the way over to the I-75 corridor. So the main reasoning for this, as you can see, a whole lot of hail. There is many hail signatures on the radar right here to the south of Lake Blackshear, and at its most intense and centermost point, you can see that some of that hail is upwards to basically about 1 inch in diameter, that just south of Warwick, but also all of these hail cores all around to the southeast is Smithville, around Leesburg, around the Warwick area, the southern tip of Lake Blackshear, kind of in that southwest corner of Chris County right there, and going to continue to move at an easterly direction, but also down in Worth and Turner counties as well. And obviously, as I mentioned, the hail at its strongest is about 1 inch in diameter per se, but there are lots of hail cores within this severe thunderstorm that we do have down here in the Chris, Worth, and Lee County areas right now. So this warning also until 3:15, and 2 separate warnings with this. So we're kind of seeing a northern portion of this on the radar. So let me get the arrow back out once again. So this northern portion of this thunderstorm, but also this southern portion extending further down to the south of Chris County. But Chris County is still seeing a severe thunderstorm warning because this northern portion right there, I do have the arrow pointed at. So I'm going to pop it back over to the other one, and let's take a look at the hail signature with this one. It did look pretty substantial when I was looking at it. So I'm thinking about around the inch threshold once again. Let me pop that up for you guys right here. So yeah, it was the same thing, 9/10 of an inch in diameter. Go ahead and round that up to about 1 inch in diameter. Once we get to 1 inch in diameter, that's when we're looking at our severe parameters for possible hail associated with these thunderstorms. So this is all going to be part of pop-up thunderstorms, mainly in the southern portion of central Georgia today, mainly looking at the risk to be south of I-75, or not I-75, excuse me, I-16 right here. So if I get the pointer out, I-16, we're looking at all these areas really to get some sort of thunderstorm or rain shower later on this afternoon as they continue to pop on up with the heat of the day that we do have. And notice temperatures aren't really as warm as they were yesterday. Definitely a scorcher of a day yesterday, but continuing to have enough moisture all over central Georgia to propel these pop-up thunderstorms all over the southern portion of our viewing area. So we'll continue to keep an eye on other areas where these thunderstorms might be popping on up, as well as Macon County right here. As you can see, not necessarily a severe thunderstorm, but still plenty of lightning to go around, some heavy rain, and even a hail signature that actually, wow, it actually looks like it has a larger hail center than other areas do in those other 2 thunderstorms. So if I click the middle of that, 1.4, so upwards to 1.5 inches or 1.5 inches in diameter of this hail core associated with this storm here in Macon County. Would not be surprised at all to see this get a severe thunderstorm tag as well. So the National Weather Service is continuing to monitor all of these, but as you can see, these are very tiny in terms of size, not really looking at a huge swath of intense rainfall or lightning or such, but still just showing the convective nature of these severe thunderstorms that we do have that popped on up. I'm going to go ahead and show you one thing real quick, and this is what I'm talking about. A very moist environment with dew points in the 70s down in these areas that we are seeing these pop-up severe thunderstorm warnings. That is going to allow for a lot of surface moisture. And when we're getting the passage of our front that is very slow moving through central Georgia, when you get the lift ahead of that front, it's going to be lifting everything at the surface in front of it. And that is this warm, moist air that you are seeing reflected on our dew points right now. So let's pop it back over to the radar. Let's see where the radar is. There we go. And going to kind of see what's going on elsewhere in terms of this whole entire system. Out to the west of our severe thunderstorm warnings down in Crisp, Worth, Lee, and Turner counties, you can see stuff firing on up along the Alabama-Georgia state line. Not near as intense as the stuff we are seeing here in central Georgia. And actually, that storm I did just mention a little bit ago over in Montgomery and Toombs County has now gotten a warning as well. So not necessarily in our viewing area, but no folks near the Vidalia area down in Montgomery County as well. Mount Vernon may be watching or tuning in. So you guys do have a severe thunderstorm warning, more so for the southeastern portion of Montgomery County and then the southern portion of Toombs County as well, around the Toombs central area. So pretty heavy rainfall associated with this. At its centermost intense points, you can see these hail signatures popping up around an inch, even greater than an inch in diameter at its most intense part of the rainfall and where the lightning is coupling together. So that is what we're looking at in terms of the risk for this. And also gusty and damaging winds are going to be a factor associated with these as well. Let's see if I can go ahead and pop over storm relative velocity, kind of just seeing some colors right there, and there goes the sound for another warning. Yes, okay, so right here in Macon County, so we were just talking about that. This warning now goes for Houston, Peach, and Macon counties with the severe thunderstorm that I did just show you. That hail core at its most intense portion just between Marshallville and Montezuma, so south of the Garden Valley area along Highway 124, I believe, 128, having a hard time seeing that on my screen right here, but as you can see, if I pop up the Curie and show you the hail core, 1.3 inches in diameter associated with this hail. So hail, a major factor with all of these severe thunderstorm warnings we do have popping on up and continuing to have a general east direction with all of these boxes. As you can see there, the thunderstorms are popping on up kind of in the western portion of these yellow boxes that we do have present and continuing to make its eastward push across the southern portion of central Georgia. So other areas of central Georgia dry right now, but you can't rule out one of these thunderstorms popping on up out of nowhere like these did this afternoon. So these thunderstorms will be going until about 3:15 in terms of their severe warning timelines, and this one up here until 3:30 as it did pop on up just a little bit after associated with these. So areas impacted that we're looking at right now. So Telfair County, southern Dodge, even a little bit on into southern Wheeler, not necessarily in a severe thunderstorm polygon, but still you can see this yellow polygon right here draping into Wheeler County, but also still some strong thunderstorm impacts in the southern portion of Wheeler County, just north of Lumber City as well. So Milan, McRae, Lumber City, you are in the vicinity of this severe thunderstorm warning down in Dodge, Telfair, and Wheeler. And I'm going to do one more and go in a little bit more locally. So for folks maybe picking kids up from summer school, summer camp, stuff like that, and then the folks that will be making their evening commute home here in just a little bit, kind of give you an idea of where the most intense portions of this storm are. So we're looking between Milan and McRae, really all around those two areas. The Cedar Park area down in Telfair, Scotland as well on the Wheeler and Telfair line, and then stretching over to Spring Hill, not seeing the most the heaviest rainfall as of yet, but still going to be getting that here fairly soon. So you can really get a good idea by seeing where the hail cores are with this, and now seeing a drop in intensity or how large that hail is according to these two signatures right here, which is really good. That is a good sign of weakening, and hopefully these is going to be the trend with these severe thunderstorms that we do have today. That hail is really just lessening in size very, very rapidly, but still hail upwards to about 4, maybe 3-4 tenths of an inch in diameter. So that's where you're getting to about maybe penny-sized hail right there falling from the sky. Still not something you want to be outside for, as well as all the lightning flashes that we do see coupling together within these severe thunderstorms. So Taking it on over to Montgomery and Toombs as well. This warning until 3:30, so for another about 43 minutes or so. So you can see the areas of pink going to be where the most intense rainfall is in terms of concentration, but also picking up that hail on the radar scans as well, and starting to get a little bit of green within this hail signature right here around the Cedar Crossing area. So 1.3 inches in diameter according to that latest scan that we did just get right there on the radar, and still heavy rain all around the Rock Springs, Toombs Central area, and southeast Montgomery County, so Long Pond, Alston, Uvalde, Charlottesville, those areas in southern Montgomery counties associated with this warning. Let's take it back over to Crisp. Got I think 4 severe thunderstorm warnings now in the central Georgia area, so going to be popping around to all of them so we can give everyone a good idea of what's going on. As you can see, the Lake Blackshear area, the Cobb area, not seeing the heaviest rainfall per se, but that looks to be just to the west of Crisp County, kind of along the Lee County and Sumter County line right there, where we're seeing some hail signatures, but not near as large as what we did see over there in Montgomery and Toombs County, but still not going to be something you want to be outside for. Definitely areas that I'm mentioning right now within these severe thunderstorm warnings, or just outside of the warnings where you're getting strong thunderstorm impacts. Go ahead and go inside and just ride these storms out for a little bit. Not going to be good for you to be outside while we do have heavy rain and hail, gusty winds, and lots of frequent lightning as well. So the good news is we're hoping for these to be very short-lived, or at least lessen in intensity, hopefully over the course of time. That is what summertime thunderstorms typically do. They are very short-lived, maybe for about 30 to 45 minutes, hopefully for the duration of these warnings, and then we see a lot more signs of substantial weakening. But if I go ahead and take off the lightning on here, you can see a lot of darker colors on the radar. So we're talking some pinks, some maroons, and spread out all over this thunderstorm cell. If you really want to call all of this one individual cell, it looks like it is kind of grouping together, but stretching as far away as Ben Hill County. You can see those shades of pink and maroon over westward back towards the Turner County area along I-75, just north of Ashburn, and then to the northwest of Ashburn as well. So areas of locally intense rainfall also associated with some tiny hail signatures is what we're seeing as well. And this hail signature right here does look to have intensified just a little bit from the recent scan. So hail upwards to about an inch, about to cross over the southern portion of Lake Blackshear, continuing its eastward push into western Crisp County and just to the southwest of Cordele as well. So anyone in Crisp County around the Lake Blackshear area, I know summertime, even though it is a Monday, a lot of folks might be out enjoying the beautiful weather out there. It has been rather cloudy, but now you're starting to see some thunderstorms pop on up. So go ahead, if you are out on the boat, happen to be watching, thank you for tuning in, number one, but also go ahead and take that boat back in. Anyone out on the lake definitely want to go indoors for a little bit as this severe thunderstorm does roll on through. Let's take it back up to Macon, Houston, and Peach counties. You can see that the heaviest portion of rain, this pink, the pink and maroons are really going to be what I'm focusing on as I'm breaking these down for you. And you can see the hail signature coordinating with that roughly. I mean, these scans are a little bit off in terms of location from the different palettes that I do have. So when I pop up the hail, it did look a little further to the west to where the most intense rain was, but still giving you a general idea of where the heaviest and the most severe impacts are going to be with this. So hail upwards to a little over an inch in diameter, moving eastward around the Barron's Lane, Winchester, and Marshallville areas down in Macon County. So this is going to keep moving east of Garden Valley, but still getting lightning flashes all around this area. Definitely going to be hearing some thunder in areas where this storm has still passed. So obviously when thunder roars, do stay indoors or go indoors. That means you are still close enough to be struck by lightning. So we're looking at Barron's Lane, Highway 49, Highway 128, I believe is what I might have said 124 earlier, so 128 is what it's looking like to me now, and continuing the eastward push, Highway 127, Highways 49 in Macon County, And yes, that's still Highway 127. So eventually creeping over to the St. Louis area along the Peach County, Macon County line. And then what's next further eastward in this severe thunderstorm polygon is the Georgia National Fairgrounds. So that just gives me a great idea right there. And I'm going to go ahead and pop up the Georgia National Fairgrounds Skycam and see what we can see out to the west of this camera. So all right, looking at it, yes, you can, it's hard to see a lot, honestly, but you can see the darker clouds moving through. I'll pop up that Skycam for you right here. And as you can see, dark clouds off in the distance, very, very gloomy when you're looking out the west gate right here on our Skycam, but give it about another 20 or 30 minutes or so. This will be very messy as it does cross over the Georgia National Fairgrounds. So for folks traveling north or south on I-75 near the Perry and Cordele areas, you are going to want to proceed with caution. Obviously, if it's too dangerous for you to drive, you really can't see too many feet in front of you, where you're looking at hail as well in these severe thunderstorm warnings, you're going to want to pull on over and preferably get somewhere where you're out of reach with these severe thunderstorm warnings. But say you're on I-75 or planning on traveling somewhere in Dooley County, heading northward upwards through Houston County or southward through Crisp County, go ahead and just wane off on those plans for about 30 minutes as these severe thunderstorms do pass on. It will make very messy conditions out on the roads. You will definitely not want to drive in these severe thunderstorm warnings. So this morning, Houston, Peach, Macon for 3:30. Encompassing areas like Marshallville, Henderson, and then eventually Perry, especially the Georgia National Fairgrounds, as we just saw on our Skycam, making a direct eastward push to these areas right here with this severe thunderstorm warning. And then also down here on the west edge of Crisp County, but still the southern portion of this thunderstorm cell extending further into Lee County, into Worth County, into Turner County. So all around the Warwick, Arabi, even Cordele at the very northern edge of that severe thunderstorm polygon. Definitely going to want to proceed with caution and stay indoors in Cordele as well. Getting another buzzer, and it looks like we have gotten revision to this severe thunderstorm warning. So when it was first issued, it did include Dodge County areas kind of to the northwest of Milan. Now it looks like it's just Telfair and Wheeler associated with this severe thunderstorm warning. So this still goes for another 20 minutes or so until 3:15, but continuing to make its eastward push out of Telfair and Wheeler counties. So Dodge County has been taken off of this severe thunderstorm warning as the heaviest of rain is moving just to the north of Milan into northern Telfair County around the McRae area. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hail signatures. Not seeing any associated with that heavy rain right there on the radar, so that's good news. But when you take it eastward, we're looking at the very southern portion of Wheeler County right here, to the southeast of Jordan, to the east of Highway 19, kind of in this little panhandle area of Wheeler County, if you will, continuing to make its eastward push into southern Montgomery, around the Uvalde, McNatt Falls areas, and then also this very intense hail core right here in southern Toombs County. Looks like even larger hail. Now that's not zoomed in quite enough, as you can see popping up Route 56 down there in Toombs County. Let's see if I can zoom in just a little bit more and get a better idea of how large that hail is. But I'm still treating it as it's about 1.5 inches in diameter, just getting into the Cedar Crossing area. So Cedar Crossing, definitely go inside. This is pretty substantial hail in terms of diameter. As you can see, 1.5 inches in diameter. So Cedar Crossing areas along Highway 56 in southern Toombs County definitely want to be indoors, as this is pretty reasonably sized hail, severe level hail at that, above the 1-inch threshold, moving on through with the heaviest portions of rain. And as you can see, the heaviest portions of rain on the rainfall, or on the radar scan, the pink and the maroons I'm talking about, just the east in Toombs Central. So maybe moving further to the east. So I'm going to direct my focus more so to Toombs Central, Johnson Corner, New Branch, along Highways 56 and 178 down in Toombs County. You guys are in a severe thunderstorm warning, and they have already hinted that this is going to continue its eastward push with a good amount of intensity, stretching over into other counties out of our viewing area, Evans, Long, and Tattnall counties around the Reedsville, Claxton, and Glenville areas. Let's take it back to Macon County over here. Going to continue kind of just to go from west to east with all these severe thunderstorm warnings that we do have. Hard to stay focused on one for too long without telling other people about what's to come. So Barron's Lane, it looks like the most intense hail is moving eastward out of that area, but still dealing with a little bit of hail. Not as large in diameter, but maybe about 3/10 of an inch in diameter around that area. But the core of the most intense hail is looking still above that 1 inch threshold for severe levels of hail. So 1.2 inches in diameter and continuing its eastward push into eastward Macon County. So areas like Winchester, along Highway 224, 234. I wish these road names were a little bit bigger because they are a little bit blurry when I'm trying to read them. But now getting closer and closer to that western edge of Houston County, so the Macon County, Houston County line, and continuing to see probably some thunderstorm impacts in this little notch in the southern portion of Peach County. So St. Louis, Clopine, and then Georgia National Fairgrounds as well. Let's pop up the Skycam, see how close that rain is to the fairgrounds. As you can see, darker clouds getting closer and closer. Wind's not terribly gusty as of now, but I think I'm starting to see some raindrops fall as well on our Skycam. That is definitely going to intensify here in the next couple of minutes or so. So what I'm really going to be looking at a lot with these severe thunderstorm warnings is going to be the hail signatures. So that is going to be a good indication of weakening possibly when they go down in size, and also a good indication of where the most intense portions of these severe thunderstorms are. So I can really hone in on local areas that are going to be impacted with this. So the biggest hail signature I'm seeing with this Chris County storm, like I said, the southern edge of Lake Blackshear, so just west of Marshall, Winona, and Pateville down in southwest Chris County. So the southern areas of Lake Blackshear are going to be most immediately impacted. That's where we're starting to see this hail core go over. And then the radar scan continues to push the heaviest of rain just a little bit to the east of where the areas of most intense hail are. So the most intense rain may be around the Marshall area. Highway, I can't even read that. I believe that is the Georgia-Florida highway though, as it goes down through Warwick, taking that road many a times to the beach. So around the Marshall area, continuing to make its presence known in Pateville and eventually Winona, Araby, and then I-75 also getting some pretty heavy portions of rain down in the southern portion of Chris County, continuing to trek eastward as well, and then eventually Hatley over in the eastern corridor of Chris County. But Cordele and East Chris and the Lake Blackshear areas still close enough to be in this severe thunderstorm polygon, so definitely go indoors if you are in any of those areas that I did just name, as well as Highway 41 that running parallel to I-75 down in Chris County. Let's go back eastward. This severe thunderstorm warning now really just prominent in Telfair County. So areas of intense rainfall are stretching into the southern kind of panhandle area of Wheeler County to the south of Alamo, but McRae, Lumber City, Cedar Park, Towns, Jordan, and Scotland. You guys on the kind of Telfair, Wheeler line, that is where the heaviest rain is and the occasional flashes of lightning, but I did remember looking at the hail signature and not seeing any hail signature in Telfair and Wheeler, which is good news, really more so in southern Montgomery, just to the southwest of Uvalde. Not very large in diameter, only about 2/10 of an inch in diameter, but continuing to take it over to the east. We're looking at southern Toombs. This storm has still been packing quite a punch. The hail signature has not weakened much over the past 20-30 minutes or so that we've been covering it. And this area in yellow, as you can see on the legend up here, I'll show you what I'm talking about, the legend. So right up here, the yellow right above the 1 inch mark in terms of the hail size. So that's exactly what we're seeing at the centermost, most intense portion of this severe thunderstorm warning, getting ready to make its eastward push over Highway 1, it looks to be, just to the south of Toombs Central, but Toombs Central, Cedar Crossing, those areas in South Toombs County, and extending further up to the northeast, Johnson Corner, New Branch, and areas a little bit east of it. This does look to be a very rural area, which is good news, but Highway 147 and Highway 178, I'm going to have to do something to make those numbers a little bit bigger because they're all clumping up together. But continuing to make its way out of central Georgia, but still I know lots of people in Vidalia and Toombs County may be watching. So I want to keep you updated with this as it does continue its eastward push into areas like Reedsville, Claxton, and Glenville. Not seeing that one go down in intensity very much, but definitely seeing a drop in intensity from this second severe thunderstorm warning that we did get issued for Dodge, Telfair, and Wheeler. Once again, they have cut Dodge out of that warning, and now it is just Telfair and Wheeler. This will go for another 13 minutes or so, and I will continue to see what the National Weather Service thinks about that, but definitely seeing lessening in intensity with that one. Starting to get more and more rain at the Georgia National Fairgrounds, so going to continue to point this Skycam to the west, and it looks like just to the southwest might be a better angle to view the heaviest rain from our Georgia National Fairgrounds Skycam. So let's take it over to the left a little bit. You can see some darker clouds out there when I'm facing southwest, so that does look to be where the most intense rain is associated with this, moving out of Macon County kind of into southwest Houston County, if you will. So I keep saying Houston County, and for folks watching that may be in Warner Robins, definitely south of you right now, not looking at this severe thunderstorm warning to impact you whatsoever. So we're looking at southwestern portions of Houston County, eastern portions of Macon County, around the Marshallville, Perry, Georgia National Fairgrounds, and Henderson areas going to be very prominent around I-75. Let's go back down to Chris real quick. Meteorologist Ansley Parker is in here as well, telling me to take a look at the winds down here. Wrong one, whoops. Not seeing anything too much. This is kind of a little bit of a dead area, but so definitely wanting to keep an eye on the winds down here. Obviously, this is what we use in terms of keeping an eye on possible rotation within these storms. Wanting to keep an eye on that, and really this area, southern Lake Blackshear, around the Warwick area, so Lee County down into Worth County and the southern edge of Lake Blackshear, seeing a lot of lightning coupling together as well, almost so strong that you can't really see much of the intensity of rain right there. So you can see a very large swath of red and maroon and pink right there, right under all of this lightning coupling together, which is already a reason enough to be definitely indoors. Southern Lake Blackshear area, and also the hail core looks to continue to grow in size right here. All right, so we're going to continue to keep an eye on this Chris County storm. Ansley was looking at some possible hooking associated with this. So when we're kind of getting these non-definitive shapes, like very kinky shapes in the severe thunderstorm warnings, we definitely want to keep an eye out on that. That is a good indication of possible rotation, but also a really bad area down here in terms of the radar, at least right now it is. Kind of see maybe what she's talking about with this kind of red boxes right here grouped together and not necessarily forming in a straight line. So when we do have winds associated with severe thunderstorm warnings, we want to see them all straight and pointed at the same direction. When you start to get the hooks and the kinks in them, that's where it's indicative of winds going in opposite directions, and that's what creates circulation. But not seeing terribly much with that right now. Hopefully that has definitely gone away as it does go over Lake Blackshear, but continuing to keep an eye on this because obviously lots of lightning, heavy downpours, and reasonably sized hail when it comes to severe levels and how wide that hail is in diameter. So about 0.9 inches. So like I said, that I go ahead and basically round up to an inch in diameter. That's close enough to be severe levels of hail in my opinion. But also areas impacted the Marshall area, as I mentioned, to the southeast of Lake Blackshear. Let's pop up the hail parameter because it makes it a lot easier to look at locations. The Rains area, along this area where Lee County, I believe, no, Sumter County, Lee County, and Chris County all touch just to the south of Lake Blackshear. Maybe even Lake Blackshear does extend farther down to this area, but that is where the heaviest of rain and the largest hail is associated right now. So Coney, Lake Blackshear, and eventually getting over to Cordele here in the next couple of minutes or so, moving eastward along Highway 280, Highway 302, 300, one of those areas. Rains, Winona, Pateville, Marshall, Araby, all those areas I just mentioned in Chris County. You're going to want to go inside and ride this severe thunderstorm out. Still not seeing much associated with this initial, or like I said, second warning that we had issued. The Chris County one was first, but definitely seeing a lessening of lightning flashes. When those lightning flashes start to go gray, that means they were longer ago in time. So when you get the bright white lightning flashes like you see over here to the southeast of Toombs Central, that means they were more recent in time. So definitely seeing those kind of gray out, that is a good indication of possible weakening. Not seeing a hail signature in Telfair and Wheeler counties anymore, a very tiny one in the very south portion of Montgomery counties. And the hail core does look to have gone down in size as well around the Toombs Central area, but still pretty strong thunderstorm impacts and severe at that, with heavy rainfall, hail upwards to about maybe dime size, marble size. But want to keep an eye on this one moving into Houston County as well now. And once again, not Warner Robins, this is South Houston County, so Henderson stretching on into Perry. I will pop up the Georgia National Fairgrounds Skycam here in just a second, but as you can see, that yellow at the middle of this hail core, indicative of 1 inch in diameter hail. So that's really the main intense impact with this severe thunderstorm right here. And obviously going to continue to keep an eye on rotations as well. Not seeing anything too indicative of that, so that's good news, but still some gusty winds, very much so associated with this, upwards to about 40-50 miles an hour, so not something you want to be outside for. And once again, if you're making any travel plans this afternoon, maybe going somewhere to pick kids up from summer school, making your commute home from work, or going on a family vacation, southern Houston County, the I-75 area, going to get quite messy around this area. So if you're traveling north from areas like Dooley County, or if you're traveling south from areas like Bibb, Byron, Warner Robins areas, you're definitely going to want to avoid I-75 right now, as it is getting quite messy down there in southwest Houston County. So definitely not seeing as much lightning coupling together, at least as we once did here just a little bit ago associated with this. And also, I keep telling you, we're looking at the winds to see for any kinks or hooks within those indicating possible rotation. Looking at the radar imagery is a good way to see the shape of these storms as well. So not seeing anything too concerning in terms of rotation with that, but still severe thunderstorm warning moving into southwest Houston County now around the Perry area. Those areas I did mention, Henderson, the I-75 area, Georgia National Fairgrounds, Perry, all you guys definitely want to be inside as this severe thunderstorm warning does roll on through. Back down to crisp. Definitely looks like where we have the highest amounts of lightning coupling together, and that hail core moving over Lake Blackshear now, that Three Corners area of Sumter, Lee, and Chris counties. So if you know you kind of live around those county markers right there, go inside southern portion of Lake Blackshear, even anyone at the lake, definitely close enough to hear the thunder associated with all of this lightning. You're going to want to be inside because it doesn't need to be raining on top of you for lightning to strike. You can see a couple of these lightning strikes outside of the radar imagery where you're seeing the reds and the yellows associated. So, and continuing to have an impact further to the east, we're talking southern Chris County around Araby, I-75, Cordele, still including you in this. Those areas want to be inside as well. And continuing to kind of stretch into southern Wilcox now. So not necessarily severe thunderstorm warning, not within any of these warnings is Wilcox, but just south of Rochelle, we're seeing some of this kind of form into a long line right here of strong thunderstorms and severe thunderstorms, but just north of the Rebecca area down in, I believe that is Turner County, along the Wilcox County line and stretching further over into Ben Hill County, so Louisville, Bowens Mill, Sibby, Owensboro, Double Run, those areas in southern Wilcox, northern Ben Hill, and northern Turner County, still seeing strong thunderstorm impacts, starting to see some flashes of lightning couple up together, and maybe even some hail signatures move on through. Yeah, just northwest of Rebecca, between Double Run and Rebecca, but also just to the east of Araby, seeing a hail signature right there. And then the big one moving across Lake Blackshear now, really almost directly along Highway, I believe that's 300. So coming very close to Cordele now. So as I have been mentioning, Coney, Cordele, I-75, Highway 41 running parallel to I-75, and then eventually East Crisp. You guys are going to want to be inside as this severe thunderstorm warning continues to roll on through. Let's pop it back over to the east. And this severe thunderstorm warning, 2 more minutes, so I imagine this warning is going to go away. Still some pretty heavy rainfall and the occasional lightning flash, but not seeing anything in terms of hail, but also gusty winds are still going to be within this thunderstorm moving through East Telfair into southeastern Wheeler County as well, all below McRae, Alamo, and to the east of Milan now, but just around the Lumber City area in East Telfair. So those areas in southern Wheeler, so Jordan, Towns, Cedar Park on into Telfair, and Lumber City as well on the eastern edge of Telfair, as well as Tallahassee. All of your areas still seeing some pretty heavy rain and the occasional flash of lightning. So you do get one flash of lightning. I'm going to consider that a thunderstorm, but still, I imagine the severe thunderstorm warning will go away for Wheeler and Telfair. That does expire here in the next minute. We'll continue to see what happens with that. But this storm still maintaining intensity as it pushes through southern Toombs on into areas outside of our viewing area, but like Reedsville, Claxton, Glenville, Evans, Long, and Tattnall counties. The area is going to be next impacted. This kind of futuristic, or not futuristic, don't know what word I'm trying to say, but they went ahead and issued this severe thunderstorm warning polygon to the east of our original one in Toombs County and Montgomery County, because the intensity has not really gone away with this. And still seeing a hail core. It looks like it's popped back on up in terms of size, 1.1 inches in diameter to the southeast of Toombs Central, southwest of Reedsville, but that continuing to trek on out of the central Georgia area. So that is good news, but still strong thunderstorm impacts in all these areas that I did just mention. Got a new severe thunderstorm warning. So it looks like this thunderstorm that did pop on up in Macon County around the Marshallville area, as we have been mentioning, we were thinking it was going to make an eastward push into Perry according to that first polygon that was drawn, but now you can see the direction slightly shifting, a little bit of a southeasterly direction with this now. So that's going to encompass Houston, Macon, Dooley, and Pulaski counties now. So this one will go until 4 p.m., so another 45 minutes associated with this. And I imagine as this continues to trek kind of east-southeastward, this first warning that is set to expire at 3:30 will expire at 3:30, but still areas within that first polygon still seeing thunderstorm impacts, as the most intense portions of this are along the I-75 Highway 41 corridor around the Henderson area in southern Houston County. Areas further to the east next impacted by this, or further to the southeast, Emmerich down in northern Dooley County, Unadilla, Elko, Grovania, and then eventually Browndale as it stretches further into Pulaski County, and Hawkinsville just outside of this severe thunderstorm polygon. Areas like Browndale and Hawkinsville that are in this warning, go ahead and head inside. You do have a little bit of time before this severe thunderstorm does make its presence known. Furthermore into Pulaski County, but still areas in southwest Houston County and northern Dooley County of most concern right now, seeing the most immediate impacts in terms of heavy rainfall, lightning coupling together, and also the hail core popping back up in size. So just to the west of the Houston County line, 1 inch in diameter hail, southwest of Henderson, but areas in Henderson definitely want to go ahead and seek shelter indoors for this and ride the storm out from the safety of your home. Now seeing an intense, a little bit of intensification with all this lightning to the east of where we're looking at that hail core for the severe thunderstorm warning that was in Chris. So those warnings did expire because it is 3:15 now. As you can see, no boxes around this, but the National Weather Service is probably just going back, kind of getting all their details together, all their ducks in a row, and trying to see what the direction of the most intense portions of this thunderstorm are headed so they can draw a new polygon box for you, kind of indicate areas that are next impacted further to the east. So I do imagine we're looking at 2 areas of intensification within this big thunderstorm cell all across into Lee County, stretching eastward further over to Wilcox, maybe even the southern portion of Dodge, but really prominent across Chris County down here along the I-75 area, seeing a lot of coupling of lightning together between Lake Blackshear and Cordele, and also in southeast Chris County, northern Turner, and then southwest Wilcox right here. The Rochelle, Rebecca areas, definitely seeing a lot of lightning coupling up here. So I imagine we're going to get probably 2 warnings, one with this portion of the thunderstorm and one with this portion of the thunderstorm. So kind of 2 separate areas to look on out for as we do get another warning here in a little bit. And that warning for Telfair and Wheeler has expired, but seeing a couple flashes of lightning still occasionally. So still, when thunder roars, go indoors or stay indoors. So areas around the Lumber City, or around the city of Lumber City is what I was trying to get out there. Didn't know how to phrase it because it has city in its name, but still around Lumber City, want to stay indoors and ride this thunderstorm on out. I promise it will be gone here in a little bit, and hopefully this stuff out to the west will not come to impact areas in East Telfair, but still a very eventful afternoon and lots of moisture present for these thunderstorms to pop on up. So going to continue to keep an eye on it. So any of these cities that I'm mentioning, I'm definitely wanting you to go inside, ride this storm on out. Again, these are severe thunderstorm warnings, but still having the impacts of gusty winds and definitely hail today. We are seeing lots of hail signatures all over, especially down into the southeast portion of Toombs County, all over this thunderstorm cluster in Chris, Wilcox, Turner, stretching into Ben Hill now, over to Lee County as well, and then northern Worth County, the Warwick area as well, and then continuing to see the area of largest hail move into the southwest corner of Houston County. So this corner of Macon County, Dooley County, and Houston County, southwest of Henderson right now. But of course the Henderson area, Unadilla, Emmerich, Elko, southern Houston County, northern Twiggs County, you want to be inside as this severe thunderstorm does continue to pass on over. Not seeing the coupling of lightning quite like the storm to our south in Chris, but still a good enough amount of lightning for you not to want to be outside. And obviously the hail upwards of about 1 inch in diameter still. It's definitely severe level hail as it does move on through these areas. And this box continuing to stretch into Pulaski as well. We'll see how intense the storm is when it makes its way into Pulaski County, but keep in mind, we're seeing the intensity and the size of the hail continue to pop on up after going down in intensification or increasing after it decreases, just due to the sheer amount of moisture that we do have available right now. So let me pop this up real quick, and then we're going to go to the Perry Skycam. I forgot I promised y'all that just a little bit ago, but as you can see, temperatures upper 80s, low 90s. That is definitely not as warm as we got yesterday, so that is good news, but still warm enough to be combined with these dew points that we do have in these areas. So areas are feeling like mid 90s, upper 90s all across central Georgia. And that is the story in many of these southern counties where we're seeing all these severe thunderstorm warnings. A lot of surface heating and a lot of surface moisture ahead of our cold front that is moving in from the northwest. Once again, ahead of that cold front, lots of lift, and it's lifting up all that surface moisture available and the warm air that we do have here in central Georgia. Let's pop over the Perry Skycam. And as you can see, nice and sunny. That is a good sight to see, but really showing you hopefully what is going to happen after these severe thunderstorms do roll on through. But I'm going to go ahead and move it to the south because this storm did shift a little bit towards the southeast. And that's our storm that we're looking at as we look south down at the Georgia National Fairgrounds. Dark clouds out in the sky, not seeing anything in terms of lightning per se, but I imagine that there are a couple lightning flashes. If I were to keep this on here for about 10-15 minutes, you would definitely see a couple of flashes of lightning as we're getting indicated on our radar. So let's go back to crisp. because I believe I have an update on that. So as you can see, no severe thunderstorm warning drawn since the initial ones down in Lee, Worth, Turner, and Crisp County. But they have issued a special weather statement for this storm in Crisp, Dooley, and Wilcox. So Crisp, Dooley, and Wilcox. That's all this area right here that you're seeing on your screen. And having very wide impacts, this severe thunderstorm is really just grown in size and continued to stretch from west to east, but seeing the most intense portions of it in terms of hail, in terms of lots of lightning around the Cordele area, really between Lake Blackshear and Cordele, now stretching into the downtown Cordele area off I-75, and then the Rebecca area, just in the southwest corner of Wilcox, the northern portion of Turner County, seeing a lot of lightning coupling together, more so west of Rebecca, but the heaviest of rainfall to the north in between Rochelle and Rebecca. But the hail signatures very sporadic all over this severe thunderstorm. So stretching from west to east, definitely seeing some hail that's upwards to about maybe dime, penny size, or even a little bit larger than that, getting up to maybe nickel in size. So I don't know the exact parameters of what coins are, but definitely seeing upwards to about ½ an inch in diameter of hail, and then it looks like this one just bumped on up just to the east of Lake Blackshear, yep, up to the inch mark right there. So that's looking at quarter-sized hail, I believe. So all in all, giving you these size references to try to give you an idea, but definitely not something you want to be outside for. As these are pellets of ice falling from the sky at very high speeds. Not going to feel too good if you're standing outside in any of these hailstorms as they move through Crisp County and Wilcox County. It looks like these storms over down in the Telfair, Wheeler, Montgomery County areas have continued their eastward push. The most intense portions seem to be in that eastward warning around Reedsville, Claxton, Glenville, but still seeing some thunderstorm impacts in southern Montgomery and southern Wheeler and all over Telfair County a little bit. And these storms just to the west, while they don't have a severe thunderstorm warning, still very strong thunderstorms. They've been issuing special weather statements for them. That means their parameters are just below what is needed for a severe thunderstorm warning, but would be surprised to see one of them pop back up a severe thunderstorm warning, as we have been seeing the re-intensification of these thunderstorms further to the east in untapped moisture areas, which is what they continue to interact with. So Telfair, while you may be out of the woods from that first severe thunderstorm warning, take a look at what you have to your west along the southern portion of Wilcox County. This is going to continue its eastward push. Definitely going to want to stay inside, as we do have this getting ready to impact Telfair in the near future, probably about 30-45 minutes or so. So strong thunderstorms down here, not necessarily severe anymore, but definitely seeing the effects of hail. Definitely hail once again around the Lake Blackshear area, Cordele. And getting a note now that the National Weather Service is watching a lot of these areas where they're getting heavy rainfall dumped on them in a short period of time, monitoring them for flash flooding. So that's what they're saying in our National Weather Service chat. Ansley Parker is doing a real good job of helping keeping me updated with that, as I'm really trying to keep you updated on the radar right now. But they did issue a flash flood guidance, the Weather Prediction Center did, and that's what the National Weather Service sent to us. But not seeing anything else said about these storms down here, but definitely did see an uptick in hail size just to the east of Lake Blackshear, around the Coney area, to the west of Cordele, and pretty sizable hail, about 1.5 inches in diameter. Yep, exactly that. So definitely using this legend up here to kind of keep you updated with the size of this hail, but this is pretty sizable hail, getting to about ping pong sized hail. Not going to feel too good if it hits you falling out of the sky at a very high speed. So definitely want to be inside areas around the Coney area and West Crisp County, continuing to go east, maybe a little bit northeastward. All these storms have a general east direction, but swaying a little bit north or south depending on where the most moisture is for it to continue to interact with and grow in intensity. So Highway 41 along the Cordele area. Northern northwest Crisp is where we're seeing the most intense portions of this thunderstorm, but still heavy rain all in between Cordele and Araby, Winona, over to East Crisp, Hatley on the Crisp and Wilcox County state line, not state line, county line, excuse me, and then a lot of coupling of lightning around the Double Run, Armboy, Rebecca areas, and there goes a severe thunderstorm warning for what we were just talking about. As we saw that hail grow in intensity, we have this new severe thunderstorm warning for Crisp, Dooley and stretching over into Sumter. Don't really think Sumter has too much severe thunderstorm warning impacts just to the west of Lake Blackshear, but still could deal with the occasional flash of lightning. But the heaviest of rain continuing to move, like I said, east-northeastward into the southern portion of Dooley County, but also monitoring this as it moves into the northern portion of Dooley County. So Dooley County kind of getting sandwiched by these two warnings that we do have right now. So northern portions closer to Unadilla getting impacted by that storm that did originate in Macon County, moved through that southwest portion of Houston County. Definitely seeing some hail, obviously still with this around the Emmerich area, continuing to move in a general east-southeast direction. And then we have this down to the south, currently in Chris County, but moving into southern Dooley County, Richwood, Vienna, those areas. So anywhere in Dooley County, definitely want to be indoors. Obviously areas to the west, not seeing much, but all along I-75, so Unadilla, Pinehurst, Vienna, those areas definitely going to see thunderstorm impacts, whether they're severe or not, still not something you want to be outside for. So like I said, you can see the direction of this severe thunderstorm warning kind of moving in a general southeastern direction. So kind of follow this yellow polygon set. That's a general idea of the direction. I can go in and give you specific speeds that these storms are moving at, and I think I will do that here in just a second now that I'm mentioning it. But also this storm down here in Chris County having a general northeasterly direction. So this is just due to these thunderstorms interacting with areas of highest moisture where they're going to continue to grow and intensify. And that's why they're not all going along the same direction, but that frontal boundary giving them a general easterly direction, just tilting one way or the other. Now that I said it, I'm going to go up here to this severe thunderstorm warning, Dooley, Macon, and Pulaski. So if I pull that up in my National Weather Service chat, I see that moving east at 30 miles an hour. So this is until 4, okay, yes. So I had to make sure it wasn't the previous warning that's tagged along to the northwest of this storm. So if I draw this, we'll go right here because this looks like where the heaviest rain might be. And eastward at 30 miles an hour is what I said. That's not quite 30 miles an hour. Let me redo that, apologies. And we'll draw this again. All right, so 30 miles an hour eastward. And like I said, if you want to kind of give it a little bit of a southeasterly direction, kind of like this where the direction of the polygon is going, that was a little less than 30 miles an hour, so maybe give or take a minute or so with these time frames. So 333 Browndale, 347 Hawkinsville, 351 Hartford, and 420 down to Dodge High. So this is extending to areas not within the severe thunderstorm warning, but as you can see, eastern Pulaski County into Dodge County are going to be the areas impacted if this storm is to hold together in intensity. But the good news is it is very small, so maybe areas in Eastman going to see rain, but areas further down into the north or south of Dodge County not necessarily going to see rain from this severe thunderstorm. But looking at all this we do have to the south, I would probably bet money on it that areas all over Dodge County are going to see rain here in the next couple of minutes. All right, let's go to this newest severe thunderstorm warning because I have pretty recent data as they did just issue this severe thunderstorm warning here a couple of minutes ago, moving northeast at 15 miles an hour. So if I take this, we'll go all around the areas of most intense rainfall, but also I'm going to continue to stretch it down here just a little bit, but northeast at 15 miles an hour. And I need to zoom on out a little bit, as I don't have a big enough frame to encompass some areas. So northeast, 15 miles an hour. We'll draw this, and here's our time frame. So Listonia, 333, 415 in Tippettville, but also other areas not within this severe thunderstorm, or not within this polygon that I just drew. Also Cordele, Lake Blackshear, Vienna, you guys still need to be inside, but trying to give some local time frames in terms of down to the minute when we'll be impacted by these areas, or when this severe thunderstorm warning will be impacting these areas. Still seeing a lot of intensification moving into the southern portion of Wilcox County, but wow, that hail core is still very impressive between Coney and Cordele now. So I have been mentioning in the past couple of minutes, areas in Cordele, downtown Cordele, definitely want to take cover, be inside, as this thunderstorm with pretty large hail, 1.5 inches in diameter, is moving on through the western portion of the town between Coney and Cordele along Highway 280 and getting ready to go over Highway 41 and I-75 in the Cordele area. But strong thunderstorm impacts still elsewhere that haven't necessarily been given a warning. I wonder if they've been given a special weather statement. Yes, so these have been tagged with special weather statements. So once again, that is one criteria below a severe thunderstorm warning. Maybe the hail isn't quite large enough yet, but definitely seeing that more so in southern Wilcox around the Rochelle area, but then stretching over into western Telfair County, just to the west, northwest of Jacksonville. Definitely seeing some pretty sizable hail associated with this. So special weather statements, but still seeing a lot of intensity with these severe thunderstorms as they're rolling through the Wilcox and Telfair County areas. And also, southern Dodge will be seeing the impacts of this as well, whether it's heavy rain or the most intense portions of hail, lightning, gusty winds, and such. Still seeing some thunderstorms down in the southeast Wheeler County and southern portions of Montgomery County as well. But it looks like all this over to the west is really what is getting going in terms of intensity. And once again, areas that I'm pointing to right here, all over that aren't seeing any rain or anything whatsoever right now. Maybe you're getting some sunshine. That's probably the last thing you want as of right now. Hopefully there's still some cloud cover keeping you a little bit cooler on the temperature side, but still an untapped moisture market all ahead of where these severe thunderstorm warnings are continuing to push through to the east. So that is what we are going to continue to look on out for throughout the course of this afternoon and into the evening as these storms really pop up and down in terms of how large the hail is and how large the impacts are in terms of severe weather. So that hail core that was between Coney and Cordele really making a northward push now all the way into southern Dooley County, south of Vienna, around the Richwood area. So definitely picking on up in terms of speed, or really just a favorable environment up there is where the largest hail did get going. And I'm going to flash this over to the Skycam, see what we're looking at down in these areas. So this is a storm we were monitoring in Macon County on into, all right, continuing severe thunderstorm warning for Dooley, Houston, Pulaski, canceling for Macon County. So we might get a beep here in a second if that was a new warning. I'll go back to that Skycam in just a minute. So yes, we did get Macon County officially taken off of this severe thunderstorm warning. So Macon County, you're in the clear for right now in case we see, unless we see anything popping up further to the west, which I'm not seeing right now. So areas like Montezuma, Marshallville, you're good to go outside now, but definitely proceed with caution. If you do hear thunder, go ahead and stay indoors for a couple more minutes. But the heaviest of rain and hail and lightning moving through northern Dooley County, further to the east, southeastward into Pulaski County now. So that's what we were just looking at on the Georgia National Fairground Skycam right there, of those dark, gloomy clouds in the distance. But if I go over here and I pop up the camera a little bit further to the right, well, not seeing too much, but maybe some of these clouds are blocking further down the road. And this is about a county away in terms of this severe thunderstorm down in northern Crisp on into southern Dooley County. But what looks like is going to happen, these two severe thunderstorm warnings are kind of on a crash course for one another. So this one up here around the Unadilla area and this one down here in the Vienna area, maybe as they continue to make their northeast push from the south storm and then the southeast push from this northernmost storm, they might combine in terms of rain swath and such all around the northern portion of Wilcox, southern portion of Pulaski County. Only skepticizing right there. Don't know if that's exactly going to happen. Maybe one will kind of just absorb the other as it continues to make whichever one is more powerful will really continue to track further into Pulaski and Wilcox. So areas like Pineview, let's go into southern Pulaski, Wallace, Gooseneck, Hawkinsville, obviously just on the edge of that polygon, and then upwards to the northern portions of Wilcox on into Bleckley County, Bailey's Park, Mobley Crossing, I believe, and then eventually Dodge County, the eastern portion or western portions of Dodge County, so west of Eastman, most immediately impacted, but then northern Wilcox as well, so Pineview, Tippettville, highways 215, 112, 233, Highway 129 stretches all the way up into Pulaski County as well. But really seeing Rochelle, Abbeville, those areas in Wilcox starting to get going in terms of severe thunderstorm impacts. So the latest things, or latest updates from the National Weather Service, we have continued the severe thunderstorm warning for Dooley, Pulaski, and Houston counties. So really leaving Houston County now, we were just touching on that one. And then this storm down here in northern Chris County around the Cordele, Dooley, and eventually going to stretch into Wilcox and Pulaski counties. Those are the two that we really have our focus on right now, but still keeping an eye on these strong thunderstorms, southern Wilcox on into western Telfair as well. And it does look like we got another warning down here just to the southwest of Chris County, so Lee and Worth counties. Still seeing a lot of activity fire on up in those areas, but almost a continuous line of thunderstorms when you look at it all in all across almost the entire state of Georgia. Obviously not continuous, seeing a little bit of breaks here and there in Telfair and Wheeler counties and some other areas, but still a lot of activity in the southern portions of the state and the southern portions of our viewing area here in central Georgia. So these two, let's go back and revisit the hail. That hail core still just south of Vienna, Richwood area, and southern Dooley County, really getting along the I-75 corridor in Dooley County. Still not going down in intensity the last 20-ish minutes or so. I believe we've been seeing these dark and light greens upwards to about 1.5 inches in diameter, areas that are going to see the heaviest rain associated with this continuing to go northeastward. Tippettville, really the main area that I see here on our radar. Let's pop over this. Just going to make sure that we're not seeing anything in terms of possible rotation and whatnot. All right, had to coordinate with producers as we do have the 5 o'clock show coming up in about an hour and 20 minutes. So got to get ready to do that. But obviously, if we still have severe thunderstorm warnings going on during that, that is what I will mainly be talking about, keeping areas in the southern portion of central Georgia informed about who's next impacted and the impacts that we are looking at with these severe thunderstorms. So hail core definitely gone down in terms of size around the Unadilla area, but still pretty sizable. Once again, areas in northern Dooley, Unadilla area, stretching into the northeastern portion of Dooley County, definitely wanting to stay indoors right now. And if I haven't said it enough times, around the Richwood, Vienna areas, and then stretching over to Tippettsville on the eastern edge of Dooley County, definitely need to be inside. That is pretty sizable hail, about upwards to ping pong ball-sized hail associated at the centermost portion of lots of lightning and lots of rain associated with this, combined with gusty winds. Definitely not something you want to be outside for. We'll keep reiterating that. Just south of Rochelle, a large, wide hail swath stretching from Pitts almost to the west of Browning. So Owensboro, pretty close to this. Also Kramer and Highway 215. Starting to see that hail core pop off a little bit in terms of intensity, which is no surprise considering the sheer amount of lightning coupling up together around the Rochelle area and southern Wilcox. So southern Wilcox, Abbeville definitely need to be inside, as this severe thunderstorm warning is already making its presence known on top of you, or going to make its presence known here in the next couple of minutes or so. Western Telfair County, so to the northwest of Jacksonville, around Temperance, China Hill, Cobbville, those areas in western Telfair, seeing a lot of intensification in terms of hail, in terms of lightning, heavy rainfall, gusty winds, all of those severe thunderstorm impacts. Not necessarily a severe thunderstorm warning yet, but as you can see at its centermost core, hail of an inch in diameter. Would not be surprised to see this get a severe thunderstorm warning tag thrown on it. But even whether it is a special weather statement, strong thunderstorm, or severe thunderstorm, whatever I'm talking about, the rules are the same. You need to be inside. You definitely don't want to be outside for any of this. Stay off the roads as you do try to drive through these. It limits your visibility in front of you upwards or down to mere feet, which I have seen personally driving through one a couple weeks ago here in Macon on my way to work. So don't want to be on the roads, want to be inside, and want to just continue to ride these storms out from the safety of your home, as I can continue to keep you updated as well. But areas not impacted right now include Pineview, Eastman, Milan was earlier, but still starting to see this strong thunderstorm, creep on up into Telfair County, McRae, Alamo, Mount Vernon, all these areas. Virtually untapped moisture market is what I've been talking about, and that could stretch up into Lawrence County here eventually. We're going to have to see how these storms hold together as they continue eastward across central Georgia. But nonetheless, you guys have a little bit of a warning right now, so you still have about anywhere from 20 to 30, maybe even an hour in time before these thunderstorms do get on up and impact you. So any loose items you do have outside, definitely want to tie those down or bring those inside. Pets, please, please, please bring your pets inside. If you wouldn't be out for this severe thunderstorm warning, your pets do not need to be out there as well, on top of the fact that it is just hot as all get out, so that your pets probably need to be inside anyway. Did just get a little bit of a revision to this severe thunderstorm warning, continuing it for Dooley and Chris counties. And I believe they took Sumter on out of this warning, which is kind of what I was saying initially. Didn't really think Sumter needed to be included in that box, but definitely wanting to give or take a couple miles here and there on this severe thunderstorm polygon that's been drawn. But still, this pink kind of maroon areas that you're seeing just to the east of Richwood, that is where we're seeing our hail core associated with this severe thunderstorm warning, and still maintaining its intensity as it moves into the southeastern portions of Dooley County, past I-75 now, 1.5 inches in diameter. Areas east of Richwood and Vienna, near the Tippettville area, all areas in between. So if I named any cities that are close to you, definitely want to go inside as this thunderstorm does make its presence felt in southeastern Dooley County. But that extends further up to northeastern Dooley County as well, because we still have this severe thunderstorm warning that originated in Macon County, went through that southwest portion of Houston County. The hail center has definitely gone down in intensity, which I have mentioned, good sign of weakening, but we are seeing the terms of the size of the hail continue to increase after going down in size, just due to interacting with sufficient ingredients needed to keep on going and for these severe thunderstorm trains to keep on chugging. So, and also still no warnings with these whatsoever, but having strong thunderstorm impacts nonetheless. Look at all those different hail signatures right here. 1, 2, 3. I guess you can count this as 4 or 5 maybe, but still count this as the same one. So 3, 4, all of these areas. So indicating areas in this big swath of thunderstorms having different areas of intensification, heavy rainfall, sizable hail, not necessarily severe criteria, but lots and lots of lightning. I mean, I think there actually is a way for me to count how many lightning strikes are within this area. Let's see, not quite. I'll have to play around with that. I haven't done that in quite a while, but still. Don't need me to count all the lightning strikes for you to look at this and see, hey, there's a lot of lightning with this. When thunder roars, go indoors. Plenty of chances for harm to be done outside in terms of what the lightning is doing. So Rochelle, Abbeville, and then getting a little more local, Temperance, China Hill, Cobbville, Jacksonville, Bowens Mill down in, I believe, Ben Hill County, a little bit further to the west, Sibby down in South Wilcox, Owensboro, Browning, Rochelle, Pitts, and once again, Abbeville. All these areas in Wilcox, Telfair, and Rhine as well, starting to get the leading edge of rain moving into southern Dodge now. All these areas I just mentioned, go inside, ride the storm on out. Definitely do not want to be outside for the strong thunderstorm that is continuing to make its east-northeast push. So I need to do one thing real quick. Just noticed my batteries are low on my microphone, so let me grab 2 of those so I don't cut out on you. But also getting reports of trees down and sizable hail down in Lake Blackshear, the Cordial areas. So definitely everything we saw on the radar seems to be accurately reflected in the damage reports we have received so far. So these winds definitely strong enough to do damage in terms of blowing trees down, in terms of damaging power lines and such. So another reason you yet again do not want to be outside for this. Okay, mic's going to go off real quick so I can change these batteries, and then I will be right back. All right, and we are back with a fresh set of batteries. So okay, so and getting some new notifications now. Perfect timing because we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning. So this one extending further to the northeast, this area that we have been monitoring of this hail that has not really gone down in intensity over the last 20 or 30 minutes or so. And we have received reports around the Lake Blackshear area of very sizable hail. This continuing its northeastward push into, well, for this warning, let's see what, okay, yeah. So Chris, Dooley, Pulaski, and Wilcox counties. So that is where this warning is encompassing, but also notice how close this warning box is to our northern storm that was in northern Dooley County, now more so in the western portion of Pulaski County. Definitely going to see this storm continue to trek in this general kind of northeasterly direction. So now looking at the hail signatures, definitely seeing a downtick in terms of the size of hail, so down to 1 inch in diameter, but still not really making much of a difference. But hopefully this is the beginning sign of weakening within this severe thunderstorm, and hopefully it doesn't pop back on up like we have seen with a lot of the other hail cores associated with these severe thunderstorms. But worth noting that maybe we might be seeing a little bit of weakening, but still areas within this polygon right here. Pine View is the one I can see from the largest view as of right now, but Tippetville, been mentioning that, really about to see the effects of this severe thunderstorm warning. Wallace down in southern Pulaski, Gooseneck also within this yellow polygon. Highway 129, Pine View, and it looks like that's all I got for this view right here, but once I start getting even more local, I'll kind of start losing track of where I am. But those towns, if you live anywhere close to them, in Pulaski, in Wilcox, the eastern edge of Dooley County, you definitely want to go inside because it is about to get messy out there. It's got 2 thunderstorms in a direct crash course with one another. It does look like the one further to the north does look to be a little bit weaker. Hail signature has definitely gone down, but still some pretty heavy rain. Hopefully the lightning will continue not to flash too much, but gusty winds also a factor within this. But the one further down to the south in that southeastern portion of Dooley County, definitely still seeing some sizable hail, where we're seeing that yellow at the center of the hail core. That's about 1 inch in diameter or so. And then another hail core just to the southeast of that. That's hail upwards of about 1/2 inch in diameter. So to the south of Pine View, pretty close to the Rochelle area down in Wilcox County. Note severe thunderstorm warning still down here, but as I have said, treat it like a very strong thunderstorm, as we are seeing hail cores, gusty winds, and definitely flashes of lightning all over. And I will go ahead and pop up some of these winds. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. When you see these lighter colors bunching up together, not indicative of rotation per se right here, but definitely indicative of stronger winds. So as you can see in this legend right here, it doesn't matter whether it's red or it's green. When you see red and green right next to each other, that's when we start to get concerned about rotation, but not seeing that coupling together in this whatsoever. But the further or the lighter green that you do get, that means the stronger winds that are associated with this. And the same goes for the red as well. That's just the direction it's moving towards our Jeffersonville radar, So these winds are blowing towards the radar, as you can see that beam right there that just moved across the screen. These winds are moving in the direction that I'm pointing this arrow, but also more so probably eastward, I would say. Not a direct depiction of it, but still, when you get the lighter greens coupling together, that means that the winds are stronger in nature. So gusty winds, already seen reports of trees down around the western edge of Chris County, Lake Blackshear area. So that is the main concern with this as well. Definitely trees get blown down, they can knock down things such as power lines or land on pieces of property. That's why you definitely want to be indoors for this if there is something like that to happen associated with these. Okay, hail core still looks to be going down in terms of size, but still sizable hail associated in the southeast portion of Dooley County, 7/10 of an inch in diameter, but much better than the 1.5 inches that we were seeing for about 20-30 minutes continuously, it seemed like. And then hail cores, different areas of intense severe thunderstorm impacts all across this large swath of thunderstorms. So if I go, what was I trying to do? That's okay. Lost my train of thought. Start jumbling things up in my brain a little bit when I keep talking and talking, so forgive me for that. But as you can see, 4 different areas of pretty intense severe thunderstorm impacts, all with hail around the 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch diameter, stretching from southeast Dooley County into Wilcox, eastern Wilcox, and then along the Dodge, Wilcox, and Telfair County line. Back to the radar, seeing a lot of lightning, but definitely disorganizing in terms of concentration, hopefully. So we're seeing a lot of gray lightning flashes on there, which I told you, that means it was further ago in time. So when you get the bright white lightning flashes like we're getting around the Rochelle area that just popped on up, that's when we're definitely seeing more recent lightning strikes, but still popping up every couple of seconds or so. So there's still a good amount of strong thunderstorm impacts to go along with the hail, with the heavy rain in terms of the lightning. Let's go back and take a look at this storm right here. So definitely looks to be going down in intensity, but we did get an update on this, and it looks like moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. So if you remember when I last drew this little polygon for the leading edge, it was moving at 15 miles an hour. And now it is sped up about 20 miles an hour in terms of speed, which is good in terms of getting over one town quicker than it once was, but also the faster it moves, the stronger the winds are associated with it. So definitely want to proceed with caution in these areas that I'm about to draw. So northeast, 35 miles an hour. That's pretty quick. I mean, look how far of a county spread that is. That's moving across maybe 2 or 3 counties over the course of basically the next hour. So Pineview, 357, Finlayson, 403, Wallace, 415, Eastman at 426, and Dubois, 441, and that would be the northern portion of Dodge County. So stretching right now, having impacts in southeast Dooley, within the next hour going to make its presence felt furthermore into the Dodge County area. So like I said, about a 2, maybe 1, 2, 3 county spread right there in terms of impacts. Take a look at what's going on to the southwest, This more so going to impact areas further to the south of our central Georgia viewing area, but right now Worth and Lee County still in this severe thunderstorm warning, only another 20 minutes or so to go on that. Imagine that will expire, not seeing too much intensification, at least compared to the stuff that we have here in central Georgia associated with this. The storm that was over in Toombs in Montgomery County, you can see it's still packing a punch as it moves further and further towards the east, close to Savannah, so Glenville, Hinesville areas. Any of you may be watching in those areas, severe thunderstorm warning, very intense stuff. Does definitely look like a good amount of hail. Yeah, definitely large hail, upwards to about 1.5 inches around the Glenville area and areas further to the east, so you definitely want to be inside while that severe thunderstorm warning does continue to go. Let's go ahead and take a look at our past ones. So as you can see, 19 minutes left to go on this Chris Dooley severe thunderstorm warning. I imagine unless anything drastically changes, this will be let to expire around 4:15, and then this box up here, this is the one that we are going to keep an eye on here in the next couple of minutes. So another 4 minutes to go on Dooley, Houston, and Pulaski counties, but that one has really gone down in terms of intensification and now about to kind of collide with that strong thunderstorm that was in Chris County as it moves into the southern portions of Pulaski and the northern portions of Wilcox County. And just as we were talking about it, they went ahead and canceled the severe thunderstorm warning for Crisp and Dooley. So yes, while there are no more severe thunderstorm warnings for a majority of Crisp, still within this polygon right here, so there still is technically a severe thunderstorm warning in Crisp County, the very northeastern edge, but also areas around Lake Blackshear, southern Crisp, Araby, Warwick, down into North Worth County. Those areas still seeing thunderstorm impacts, some pretty heavy rain, gusty winds, still want to remain indoors for the remainder of these storms. Northern portions of Lake Blackshear looking a lot better than areas further down to the south. Obviously, proceed with caution if you are out on the lake. If you do hear thunder, that means you shouldn't be outside or be out on the lake. And definitely have gotten reports of trees down and sizable hail already around the Lake Blackshear area. So any trees down, obviously proceed with caution. See any power lines down, call the authorities and let them know so they can come out and fix that. And definitely do not try to tangle with the electrical wires yourself. All right, so pretty widespread pretty widespread lightning stretching all the way from Dooley, Pulaski, Wilcox, all the way through basically all of Wilcox County, the southern tip of Dodge County, and then western edges of Telfair County. But as you can see, this really ramped on up in the western edge of Telfair County. But all this that continues to stretch eastward, what do you see? You don't see too much lightning. So all of this area is where our first severe thunderstorm was, around the Milan area, continued to trek around McRae into the eastern portions of Telfair County. So hopefully as this continues to trek further to the east, it's moving into a very tapped moisture environment. So not untapped, it's already been used up a good bit by that first severe thunderstorm warning, and hopefully won't have any more severe thunderstorm impacts further to the east. But still seeing flashes of lightning. It's going to really depend on how much moisture that severe thunderstorm warning earlier did use on up. So not saying that this won't completely blow up like some of these have over to the west, but still, I'm hoping for the best because we did already have a storm roll on through, hopefully cooling down the air and using up a lot of that moisture that was present, those dew points in the 70s. But still, even after rain in the summertime months, it's central Georgia, folks. It's humid. It is just downright swampy out there unless you get a very long rain shower that does definitely cool down the air. So I imagine areas in Crisp County definitely feeling a lot cooler right now. But in fact, we can just go ahead and take a look at it. So yes, as you can see, a nice pleasant 74 degrees in Cordele as opposed to 80s and 90s all over the rest of central Georgia. But still not feeling too bad when you look at it in perspective from yesterday. Upper 90s feels like closer to triple digits in some areas. And I would like to note, so obviously some people may be tuning in, seeing these severe thunderstorm warnings. We did have some severe thunderstorm warnings further to the north earlier today. So we're talking Jasper, Putnam, Jones, Baldwin, stretching into Washington counties. Those areas, this is all a part of the same system, if you will. This frontal boundary is making very, very slow progress through the state of Georgia and central Georgia at that. So it has continued to trek a little bit further to the south. But those storms that we did see fire on up in the overnight hours, that was still ahead of this cold front. As I've been mentioning, with the influx of moisture over the course of the past day, combined with that lift in front of the front, that is what's creating these pop-up showers and storms. But definitely seeing more coverage of them right now, obviously, because we are getting the heating of the day and warmer temperatures as opposed to what we did see overnight for some areas. So I'm hoping that a lot of these will continue to just east-southeasterly direction. Obviously, this one warning, a little bit of a northeasterly direction. We're going to see what happens with that as it combines with that storm that we did see up here in southern Houston, northern Dooley. I believe it'll still have a general easterly direction, obviously, if it's going to wane more towards northern Dodge, South Bleckley, South Lawrence, or if it's going to have more of an easterly direction just across the Eastman, that little notch in Dodge County that I'm pointing to, the very, very southern portion of Lawrence County over into Wheeler and Montgomery. So that's going to be something we keep an eye on for the next couple of minutes, but want to note that that warning up in Houston, Pulaski, and Dooley has been expired. Not for all of Dooley. Same deal with what I was just mentioning with Chris County. Still a little bit of that area in the severe thunderstorm warning, but also still some pretty severe thunderstorm impacts in terms of hail, gusty winds, and lightning coupling on up. Definitely seeing another little ramp on up in intensity of this hail core like we have been seeing. It goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up. It's a little bit of a roller coaster, but still. That is, like I said, just due to the sheer amount of moisture in the environment that this thunderstorm is rolling through, is interacting with. So Dooley still in, or this very southeastern portion around the Tippetville area, still being impacted by this severe thunderstorm warning. Houston and Macon counties looking all clear now. Hopefully we will continue to remain that way for the rest of the day, because what is to follow after all of these showers and storms? Lots of drier air after the passage of this cold front. So we're going to hope it continues to kick in gear and move further down to the south and continue to push all of these storms that we're seeing out of the area further down towards the coast. Eventually is where this front is supposed to end on up. But then once we get into the later portions of the week, a lot of question marks around our rain chances as what this front will do when it gets down to the state of Florida. But that's for later. We have to cross this bridge before we get to that one. Lots of lightning still around the Abbeville area, more so to the east of Rochelle now, but still seeing plenty of lightning flashes around the Rochelle area in Wilcox County. Southern Dodge as well, pretty prominent now around the Rhine areas, Browning over on into Milan on the Telfair and Dodge County state lines. And then still thunderstorm impacts in Telfair County, not seeing the coupling of lightning together like we are seeing over in Dodge and Wilcox, but still occasional lightning flashes, and I imagine still some hail cores as well. So actually no hail cores, which is good. Like I said, areas in Telfair County, maybe a little bit of a worked over environment already. So we're going to hope for the best with that one, continue to keep an eye on it, but still I do believe those severe thunderstorms that rolled on through about an hour, hour and a half or so ago, definitely making their presence felt in terms of extending this severe thunderstorm further and further to the east. So getting a lot of lightning coupling on up. You can see these two hail signatures and then some areas far and in between around the Rhine areas, Abbeville, the Dodge Wilcox County line, northeast of Rochelle, and then back here, this hail core just keeps popping on up in terms of about 1.5 inches in diameter, 1 inch and 3/10 right there is what you see as it moves into this kind of three corners area of Wilcox, Dooley, and Pulaski counties right there. So that's our only severe thunderstorm warning as of now, but still strong thunderstorm impacts and hail cores. Not necessarily too severe criteria. That's probably why there hasn't been a warning thrown on this, because you have to reach upwards to 1 inch in diameter of hail associated with your severe thunderstorm warnings. That is National Weather Service criteria, and then also winds have to be of a certain threshold as well. I believe it is 58 miles an hour, so we kind of round up to 60 when it comes to that. But still, gusty winds, lots of lightning, sizable or severe level hail depending on where you are. If you're within the severe thunderstorm box, it is looking like severe level hail upwards to about 1 inch and 3/10 in diameter, but still pretty sizable hail close to the 1 inch mark with all of this lightning down on the Wilcox, Dodge County lines, and then even stretching a little bit over into western Telfair County as well. So all of these thunderstorm impacts, whether they're severe or whether they're strong, still having an impact nonetheless all across our southern counties here in central Georgia. And as I was saying that about not having a severe warning or severe criteria as of now, this area that I have right here, I'm going to point the arrow out so you can see what I'm talking about. All this lightning coupling together around Abbeville, the Rhine area down in southern Dodge, and continuing to get pretty heavy rain just to the southwest of Chauncey. Special weather statement has been issued. Once again, special weather statement one criteria below a severe thunderstorm warning. So it has strong thunderstorm impacts, just not to those parameters I just mentioned with the 58-mile-an-hour winds or hail that is 1 inch in diameter. But will we see hail 1 inch in diameter? Well, I believe we might have just answered our question right there. As you can see, northwest of Abbeville, hail 1 inch in diameter. So if this is to register with the National Weather Service, which not quite, I thought it just popped up right as I said that, which would have been convenient timing, but still, treating this as a very strong thunderstorm, going to tell you the same thing I would tell you for the severe thunderstorm warning to the northwest. Definitely get indoors, ride this on out until I tell you that it's all clear and everything is kind of cleared on up. Also, when you can go outside when you're stopping to hear the thunder in the distance. Obviously, you hear thunder, that means you're close enough to be struck by lightning. Thunder travels somewhat about 10 miles away from each individual lightning strike. And if you want more information on that and about heat lightning, be sure to tune in at 5. That's something I was working on earlier today, but still, that's not the concern right now. Just trying to give you a little bit of a fun fact with all the serious talk with all these severe thunderstorm warnings, but still. 1 inch in diameter hail just to the northwest of Tippettville, so that Three Corners area, Pulaski, Dooley, and Wilcox counties, just to the west of Pineview, continuing to make its northeast push into southern Pulaski County, so Wallace looking like where this area of most intense rain and severe thunderstorm impacts is going to go. Southern Pulaski County, Gooseneck also within this polygon. Want to go ahead and get inside if you're in any of those areas. But like I said, it did combine with that storm further to the north in Dooley County that was moving at a southeasterly direction. So maybe we're going to see a little bit more of a shift just directly to the east, you know, when we're kind of getting an impact, a force going this way, and then you have a force going this way. Well, it equals out, it goes directly this way. If you can kind of see the physics lesson I'm giving you right there, but still, doesn't matter, still going to give you general areas and the town names that I am saying. Once again, go ahead and be indoors while this severe thunderstorm does roll on through. And once again, any areas around these areas that maybe you're going to be on the road to pick kids up from summer camp, going to be making that evening commute home from work, maybe going ahead for an early dinner tonight on your Monday night. Definitely want to veer off the roads in any of these areas, or not veer off the roads. I don't want you to literally drive off the roads, or worded that badly. Stay off the roads in these areas. So if you're thinking about grabbing your keys, about to head on out in southern Pulaski County, go ahead and wait a few minutes. Wait for the storm to pass on through before you get on the roads. And also pets. If you wouldn't be outside for this severe thunderstorm warning, your pets do not need to be out here as well. Still nothing besides the special weather statement on this. I'll go ahead and give you a couple of things that the National Weather Service has given us with this. Saying along a line extending from Pope City to Rhine. So also more local areas that if I were to zoom in on this radar, I'd be able to give you some more local areas, which I think I might do here in just a second now that I say it out loud. But up to 40-mile-an-hour winds, pea-sized hail, and frequent cloud-to-ground lightning. And I don't think you need to go outside or an actual depiction of that cloud-to-ground lightning. As you can see, probably about 5 of them just popped up there. Now 2 more, now 1. It's every couple seconds that you're seeing lightning associated with this, and also pea-sized hail, maybe even a little bit larger than that, as we're seeing some of our models show a little bit greater than that. So yeah, 9/10 of an inch, give or take some with that, but still, you want to treat it as it is worse than it actually is and take the proper precautions. So Abbeville, Statham Shoals, Rhine, Poplar Hill, Milan, and then eventually up into Godwinsville, Chauncey, Jaybird Springs, Accord, right there on the Dodge Telfair line as well. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. But Highway 129, 280, Highway 117, Southern Dodge, Eastern Wilcox County, those are some of the roads that you'll definitely want to avoid right now as this strong thunderstorm is continuing to roll on through. So taking a look at this up here, this storm that has been producing sizable hail for a good amount of time, stretching all the way back to the Lake Blackshear area, now finally seeing a decrease in that hail size, which is very good news, but still not out of the woods yet. Still, we're talking about pea-sized hail along the southern portion of Pulaski, northern portion of Wilcox, close to the Pineview area, about ½ an inch in diameter, but still not seeing as much lightning associated with this. So that's good. We can see the areas of heavy rainfall, so that's enough reason to not be outside whatsoever, combined with the gusty winds. We're talking that sideways rain that you can see. But when you see the lightning decoupling, not as intense in concentration as it is further down here, where you can barely see anything, barely even the city names, that is a good sign of possible weakening as well. So we're going to continue to monitor this. This could pop back on up very well, due to, like I have said, the untapped moisture environment ahead of it, but still does look to be spreading on out in terms of severe weather impact. So hopefully we will continue to see that weakening, and hopefully that warning will go away here in about 3 minutes or so. But right now, still continuing to monitor this special weather statement. And while it is a special weather statement, still seeing strong thunderstorm impacts, like I have mentioned, the very southern portion of Dodge County around the Rhine, Copeland, Statham Shoals area over into Wilcox County, Abbeville just east of you, but still all around Abbeville. And then continuing to move east, maybe a little bit northeast. So areas just to the east, we're talking Milan, we're talking Chauncey, Acord, McRae, Avance, Scotland, all over into the northern portion of Telfair, eastern Dodge, western Wheeler County as well. So hopefully these will continue to eastward push out of the area, because I'm saying eastward push because I'm not wishing this on anyone, obviously, but still, the further this storm tracks to the east in this area where that severe thunderstorm did roll on through earlier, like I said, that's the tapped out moisture environment, hopefully, and we're already seeing it in terms of rain not being as intense on the eastern portion of Telfair as the storm moves on through these areas. So if this were to move further over to the east, hopefully that storm from earlier will have used up sufficient amount of fuel and moisture for these severe thunderstorms, or strong thunderstorm, and hopefully this will lessen in intensity like it is over here down in Telfair, really just getting some rain showers with the occasional flash of lightning or rumble of thunder or two. Got a special weather statement for Bleckley, Dodge, Pulaski, and Wilcox. So this is all this around here, all that is touching those counties that I just mentioned. Definitely not seeing as much intensification with this severe thunderstorm warning. We have a minute to go. Let's see what happens with it. But I really want to keep an eye on this, because I would hate to go off the air and then another warning pop on up. And I imagine that's a pretty large swath of over an inch hail right there. So that's the parameters you need in terms of hail for the severe thunderstorm warning. Let's see if the winds are strong enough for this to be issued a severe thunderstorm warning. And also, with this expiring here in the next minute, this warning up to the northwest, we might just be waiting till that time frame before the National Weather Service gives us word about this severe thunderstorm, strong thunderstorm down to the southeast of that polygon. Okay, have them check the phone real quick, make sure we got everything good to go for the 5 o'clock show. So as of now, no severe thunderstorm warnings here in central Georgia. Still special weather statement issued for this down here in Wilcox, Dodge, and even some heavy rain stretching into the southern portions of Pulaski County still. I'm going to pop up the Perry Skycam, see if we can move it on over to the left a little bit more, get a little bit of a northward view of this. And not much. Don't think it's really anything worth showing you. It's just some gloomy clouds off in the distance. That's about all there is. Dublin might have, Perry's honestly a little bit closer than Dublin is to this strong thunderstorm, so not sure how much help that would give us either. So if they get closer to our Skycams, then I'll be happy to show you the effects of this in real time, how heavy the rain is and how fast those gusty winds are blowing the rain and sideways rain, maybe even hail and stuff like that. Like we are continuing to see this hail signature just to the west of Milan. So 1.2 inches in diameter. Areas to the east or northeast a little bit is where the very intense rainfall and hail is headed. So Rhine, Abbeville, already within this swath of lightning, heavy rain, but the hail core moving further and further towards the Chauncey, Milan areas along the southeastern corridor of Dodge, the Dodge-Telfair line. McRae also going to see some pretty heavy rain move into the northern portion of Telfair County. New event, so getting a new severe thunderstorm warning, but I have the notification set for Lee and Worth right there, so it looks like they're continuing to monitor conditions out there to the southwest of Crisp. Would not be surprised at all to see this get a warning thrown on it, but there's a reason that there isn't a warning on it as of now. Obviously, the hail is very sizable and up to severe parameters, but maybe the winds aren't quite strong enough. That's the other criteria that we do need. And obviously, National Weather Service, they do know what they're doing. So nothing in terms of severe with this thunderstorm, but still a very strong thunderstorm nonetheless. Southern Dodge County going to move into Eastman in terms of heavy rainfall, some lightning as well. And then we're looking at other areas if this whole thing is to move to the northwest. So that's actually giving me a good idea. And I will draw a box for this. So moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. So all of this is kind of clumping together in the same thunderstorm cell, if you will. So I said northeast at 25 miles an hour. So if we were to cover, I did 27. I always click it a little too early or a little too late. If I were to get this whole thing right here, this whole thunderstorm cell, we move it northeast at 25 miles an hour. There we go. So pretty widespread swath right there in terms of areas next impacted. So Chauncey, about 5 minutes, 423, 432 McRae in northern Telfair County, 437 Dodge High, 440 Advance, 453 Alamo, 501 Dubois, 508 Cadwell, and then 511 Glenwood. So as you can see, areas further to the east still very much impacted by this as it moves through eastern Wheeler County, but also into the southern portions of Lawrence County as well as northern half of Dodge County as well. So these areas, that's the time frame for what we're looking at with this strong thunderstorm moving on through. Again, if we don't get anything from the National Weather Service here in the next couple of minutes, I more than likely will go off the stream as I'm not seeing anything that they're going to indicate this as a severe warning, and I have some things I need to do to get ready for the 5 o'clock show, and we can hopefully keep our fingers crossed that that was the last severe thunderstorm warning of the day. But still, like I mentioned, let's take a look at the dew points. You want to see the virtually untapped areas of moisture, and it's kind of directly over where this storm is headed. So Eastman, south of Dublin, around that little corridor in the southeastern portion of central Georgia, moving closer to the I-16 area, Trutland, Montgomery, Wheeler, and southern Lawrence. So hopefully this thunderstorm will de-intensify in nature. Still seeing a lot of lightning, that's for certain, and heavy rainfall and even hail signatures that it continues to grow in size. So yeah, instincts are telling me that even though severe thunderstorm warning, it's definitely something I still need to stay on the stream for you guys here, because this is pretty sizable hail. This is what we're talking about, that we got the reports at Lake Blackshear, very sizable hail, and then trees getting blown down and such. So definitely some strong winds associated with this too. And hello. Yeah, so like I mentioned, the lighter the greens are, the higher intensity that the winds are. Those moving into the Chauncey area, Godwinsville, Acord, all these areas close to these impacts of the strong winds. But take it a step further, then the light green, the light blue is even stronger winds than that. So we have some very gusty winds associated with this. Combined with the hail, now I'm starting to think, okay, National Weather Service, maybe a severe warning possible, but like I said, they have a reasoning for doing everything. So continuing to monitor this as a strong thunderstorm, but still with gusty winds, sizable hail, frequent lightning, and heavy downpours. All of those strong thunderstorm impacts almost to the criteria of a severe thunderstorm warning. So like I said, instincts are telling me not to get off the stream because this is a pretty wide hail swath and also gusty winds associated with this. So I'm wanting to keep areas updated that are going to be impacted by this fairly soon. So the most immediate, Chauncey, Acord, possibly this hail swath really getting close to Milan as well. And then even areas of pea-sized hail further in northern Wilcox into western Dodge County. And if this continues at the northeasterly direction that we did have, let's just draw it like right here, 25 miles an hour, bingo. So Chauncey, Jaybird Springs, those are the only two timestamps we're getting on this. So hopefully this is moving through a very rural area, but obviously Chauncey is right in the middle of this. So people in Chauncey, go ahead and get indoors while this severe thunderstorm, strong thunderstorm does roll on through, but with borderline severe thunderstorm impacts in terms of the parameters. So sizable hail upwards to about 1.5 inches in diameter, some pretty gusty winds that I did just show you on the storm relative velocity as well. And I will pop that up once again. Misclicked, there we go. So, okay, it looks like the light blues are definitely decoupling, which is good news. So Godwinsville, Chauncey area, definitely seeing some gusty winds still, but hopefully those are going down in terms of intensity. So you see that it says negative. Obviously, this isn't going to be negative wind. I don't know how you would even begin to describe that, but 57 miles an hour, it's just blowing in a different direction from the radar. So that's where you're getting the negative from. That negative is a vector orientation right there. So that's just the direction it's moving in. But 57 mile an hour winds, still not quite 58. I think it's close enough to classify it as that, but still, go ahead and treat it 55. Wow, there we go. So maybe I just speak it into existence, but here we go. Dodge, Lawrence, Telfair, and Wheeler counties. This is going to be the newest severe thunderstorm warning, and that is what we have been watching over the past 10, 15 or so minutes, and there goes our buzzer. Hail upwards to 1.4 inches in diameter. Gusty winds upwards to about 60 miles an hour. Let's see what they gave us on the warning in the National Weather Service chat. 60 mile an hour wind gusts, quarter-sized hail, source radar indicated. So obviously they were looking at what we were looking at, and that's why they decided to go ahead and tag it with a warning. Max hail size, 1 inch, max wind gusts, 60 miles an hour. So it's pretty accurate for what we were just looking at on the radar. So going to continue to keep an eye on this. This warning is for almost another hour, it looks like. It's about 51 minutes, I believe. So will the intensity of this storm last that duration of the warning? We'll continue to see. But the eastern portion of Dodge County, southern Lawrence, into the northwestern portions of Wheeler County, and then the very northern edge of Telfair County, still going to see some pretty strong thunderstorm impacts. But the most intense areas of this going to be at least the hail signature further to the southwest of Chauncey right now. But when you take a look at the stronger winds, you can see those light greens and a little bit of light blue. Those winds really a lot more prominent across Chauncey right now, which is not abnormal. A lot of the times this leading edge of a thunderstorm is more so where you get the gustier winds as opposed to where the most intense rainfall is, which is further down into the thunderstorm. So I'm buying that as well. Let's go ahead and zoom it in, pretty local for other areas. So Jaybird Springs mentioned right after Chauncey, you guys are going to see the impacts of this severe thunderstorm warning. Alamo within this box in northwest Wheeler County, Avance also in Wheeler County, and then we take it up into South Lawrence. So this is outside of Cadwell, but Cadwell is still going to see some pretty strong thunderstorm impacts as this thunderstorm is not completely obeying this severe thunderstorm polygon. Weather doesn't do that. These polygons that get drawn, the thunderstorm doesn't say, oh no, I can't go outside of this polygon. No, it still goes wherever the moisture is present. So still Eastman, Cadwell, these areas in northern Dodge County, Plainfield, Bryant, Dubois, going to see thunderstorm impacts, strong thunderstorms, heavy rain, frequent lightning associated with this, but also the most intense portion really looking to move towards the southeast of Cadwell, hopefully, and hopefully the most intense portion will continue to go over very rural areas, but still highways 319, 126 in South Lawrence County, Highway 46, more immediately here in Dodge County, Highway 23, Highway 165, just around the Chauncey, Jaybird Springs, Acord areas, or I believe I'm saying that right. You can feel free to correct me, I do apologize, but Acord. So 5:15 on this. We have another 48 minutes, I believe, if my math is correct, on this warning, maybe 38. Somewhere in there. So upwards of 30 minutes, 30, 45, maybe even a little bit longer than that associated with this warning. Again, moving at 25 miles an hour, I believe was the last I saw. Yes, still northeast at 25 miles an hour. So let's draw a new polygon. I'm going to go all over this to give areas a good idea of who's going to be impacted by strong thunderstorm impacts as well, maybe not necessarily severe. So that's a lot more widespread of an area. So we're looking at McRae here in about 4 minutes, 4:32, Avance 4:40, Eric at 4:45, then Alamo and Wheeler County at 4:54, 5:07 into Rents, 5:14 Glenwood, and then Barnhill at 5:21. So all these areas spread out across southern Lawrence, eastern, northern portions of Dodge, as well as northern portions of Telfair, northwest portions of Wheeler, and then even on into Treutlen County, the southwest corner. All of you going to see some sort of thunderstorm impact here in the next about an hour or so, going to areas further out and at the end of this polygon that I just drew. You have a little bit of time to go outside, tie down any loose items, bring your pets in, anything that you don't want to get blown around by the gusty winds associated with this severe / strong thunderstorm. You have some time to do that real quick before it does move on into the area, but want to be off the roads, want to be inside in the safety of your home. As I mentioned, we have had reports of trees down. We have had reports of sizable hail and still seeing sizable hail here on the radar. So these are the impacts that you're going to see. Do not want to be outside for. Maybe if your car is parked in the driveway right now, want to move that inside the garage. Don't want all of the hail to be pelting the car windshield or the top of the car as well. Let's go back to the hail while I was mentioning it. Definitely has gone down in terms of size, which is good, but still, like I've said, we've seen decrease, increase, decrease, increase. It's all going to depend on the environment that this thunderstorm does interact with over the next 30 minutes or so to see if it will maintain its status for this warning until 5:15. So until this warning goes away, I'm planning on staying on this stream. Excuse me, got to get a sip of water real quick. So planning on staying on this stream for the duration of this warning. However, we do have a 5 o'clock news show, so probably about 4:45, 4:50, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up, try to get some graphics together, but I'll be right back on 13 WMAZ, keeping you updated for our 5 o'clock show. As long as we do have this warning, be hinting the latest updates on hail size in terms of winds, in terms of lightning and intense rainfall. So as you can see, pretty gusty winds moving through the Chauncey area right now, just to the east of Godwinsville, but still strong thunderstorm impacts, even though you're not in the area of the most intense severe thunderstorm impacts. Jaybird Springs on deck next after Chauncey, stretching over to Acord, and then Highway 319 as it stretches through this little notch in Dodge County into southern Lawrence, Highway 126 in southern Lawrence, just to the southeast of Cadwell. So Highway 126 goes all the way up to Cadwell, but the further you go down it towards Highway 46 in southern Lawrence, that's where we're looking at the strongest thunderstorm impacts with this severe thunderstorm. And then eventually areas not within this polygon, Lowry, as I mentioned, Barnhill, Lothair, some of those areas, and eastern Lawrence, down into southwestern Trutland. If the storm is to hold together in terms of intensity, then you guys will be getting the severe thunderstorm impacts, if not still strong thunderstorm impacts, as not seeing any true indications of weakening with this. A little bit of broadening in terms of the hail core. Highways 165 and Highway 23 around the Chauncey area in southeast Dodge County. That's where we're looking at this hail core between Chauncey and Milan and Acord, kind of in that Bermuda Triangle of those areas, if you will. And the hail size has definitely gone down below the inch threshold now. So hopefully the trend will continue in terms of the hail size with this, but still seeing a lot of lightning, gusty winds, and also heavy downpours regardless of whether we're seeing hail or not. So that is all the severe thunderstorm impacts with this, but enough for me to tell you to stay inside and ride the storm out from the safety of your home. I imagine definitely going to get some reports of damage and such, like we have with like Blackshear in terms of trees down. But that is why I'm here telling you that you need to be inside with all this nasty weather coming on through. So not to scare you, just to make you prepared, as the severe thunderstorm is packing quite a punch wherever it has been, and other severe thunderstorm warnings that we have had so far throughout the afternoon hours today. So once again, I'm going to give it another about 12 to maybe 15 minutes before I do hop on off the air, and I have to make sure we have everything to go for the 5 o'clock show. But if you're still looking for an update and you're living in any of these areas going to be impacted by this severe thunderstorm warning, I will be back on 13 WMAZ live at 5, and I will be keeping you updated with the latest parameters in terms of hail, in terms of the radar, in terms of the winds, and giving you a general track of this and any updates with the direction or how it's faring in terms of intensity. So getting a note from someone at the National Weather Service, there's a decent outflow signature on the radar with the storms in Dodge County right now. Basically, summed up, this means we may see its northeastward movement, or given its northeastward movement, we may see the propagation of storms towards Lawrence, Trutland, Wheeler, and Montgomery counties through 6 p.m. So basically, since this is going northeastward, we're also looking at these storms to continue to fire on up in Wheeler, Montgomery, Trutland, areas that have an untapped moisture environment, is basically what that is saying. So we're looking at the possibility of that, more than likely the probability of these storms continuing to have severe thunderstorm or strong thunderstorm impacts as it moves through those counties that I did just mention. And then the severe warned storm in Wilcox and Pulaski counties appears to be weakening on the radar. Okay, so that was a little bit ago. This also message was a little bit ago, now that I'm just seeing it. So Alex Forbes also staying up to date with the severe weather, sending in a picture that one of you sent in from Henderson about nickel-sized hail, maybe even a little bit larger than that, looking at about like an inch in diameter. So everything I've been showing you on the hail palette associated with these severe thunderstorm warnings has been fairly accurate so far in terms of winds, in terms of hail size. So all the more reason for me clicking in and trying to get the largest size of hail within these hail cores that are popping on up in the palette. So 9/10 of an inch, go ahead and round that up to about an inch in diameter, just to the east of Chauncey, but still seeing anywhere from pea size to about an inch sized hail around the Chauncey area. And if I take off the lightning, you can see reflected in this area of heaviest rain, the pinks, the maroons, just to the northeast of Chauncey, northwest of Acord, moving into this notch area in Dodge County. So kind of panhandle area, the area that protrudes the rest of Dodge County and really tags along with Lawrence County and Wheeler County as well. And then continuing to have strong thunderstorm impacts around the McRae area as well. Lightning strikes close enough to McRae, obviously hearing thunder. And as I mentioned before, when thunder roars, go indoors. I don't just tell you because it rhymes, it is true. Because as you can see right here, Highway 319 in that notch in Dodge County, it does not need to be raining over you for you to get a strike of lightning. So when you hear thunder, that means lightning is close enough by that you could be struck by it or your property could get struck by it. So that is why I keep reiterating that, not just because it rhymes and it is catchy, but because I am looking out and trying to keep you prepared for things like lightning strikes outside of the rain swath, but also all the other impacts associated with this severe thunderstorm. So hail core, not doing much in terms of size. Maybe we'll see what's going to happen with it here on the next radar scan. Really along Highway 23 between Chauncey and Acord and that southeastern edge of Dodge County. Not seeing much de-intensification in terms of lightning strikes being very concentrated together. So that's also another sign of continuing intensification with this severe thunderstorm. And like I said, we're going to pop over to this real quick. I wouldn't show you the dew points unless it was viable today. And as you can see, dark green over there in the area where this severe thunderstorm warning is heading in that northeasterly direction. Can't get the arrow on here, but I can do this. I'll pop up this right here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So this dark green area indicative of dew points above the 70-degree mark. That's very swampy stuff right there. This severe thunderstorm kind of in this area right here in the southeastern portion of Dodge County, continuing to track northeast into this very swampy area. So while we may see a little bit of de-intensification, it's very likely to ramp back on up like we have seen the past severe thunderstorm warnings as well. And we're going to continue to have to keep an eye out to our west because we do have this moisture environment over here. So that storm that did roll through Macon County into southern Houston County didn't really do much in terms of using up all of that moisture that's available over there. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on that. But unless we see anything popping up towards the west or in terms of thunderstorms around that area, I think we are doing all good in terms of that. Let's pop back the max. And as you can see, what's to follow all of these thunderstorms that we are receiving? See if I can drag it all the way over here. You can see lots of partly cloudy skies up around the I-75, I-16 split, all over Forsyth, Gray, Milledgeville, Sandersville, Thomaston, Roberta, Butler. All those counties further to the northwest of where you're seeing this cloud cover and these storms are drying on out and making the way for much more pleasant weather. So that's what's ahead. So take comfort in that. That's a little bit of the light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. But also continuing to look at what's going on over here, like I just mentioned, and not much except for some stray lightning strikes way far away from actually where you are seeing all of that rain on the radar. Still could be some cloud to ground lightning. There might be some clouds over there, but not seeing too much immediate ramping on up of activity in this southwest corridor of central Georgia. So that's good news because that is something we're going to have to keep an eye on as well. Let's take it back over to Chris County real quick. Want to note one thing because we have received a flash flood guidance from the National Weather Service. So continuing to get more and more rain dumped on it. Another little heavy rain shower popping up around the Lake Blackshear area. Still some flashes of lightning around the Araby area, all along I-75, but mainly towards the southwest in Lee and Worth counties, which have also been getting pummeled by these severe thunderstorms. But still strong thunderstorms, maybe not necessarily strong thunderstorms, but still thunderstorms within the vicinity of Chris County. So still, I would remain inside if you are in Chris County, especially the Lake Blackshear area. I know I might be ruining your lake plans right now for your Monday afternoon, but still, I would rather be safe than sorry when it comes to being outside for these thunderstorms that are rolling on through. And hey, if you do what I say today, I promise you I got better weather tomorrow. So, all right, continuing to monitor the intensity of our lone severe thunderstorm warning as of now. Not seeing much in terms of this hail core. Also very slow moving, if you've kind of noticed. It hasn't really done much except get around the Chauncey area over the past maybe 15 minutes or so. Maybe this hail core will start to speed on up through the notch in Dodge County, more so into Wheeler and Lawrence here in the next couple of minutes, because that's not exactly what you want to see. You don't want to see the slow movement of these severe thunderstorms, because obviously lots and lots of heavy rain combined with that hail at the most intense portion that's within this severe thunderstorm warning right now. And when it moves very slowly over you, just think about buckets and buckets and buckets of rain continuing to be dumped on you. So the slower it moves, the more risk of flash flooding that you do have, depending on how much rainfall there is. So we do want to see this move rather fast and move through towns a lot quicker, but also when it does move a lot quicker, you do get the gustier winds ahead of it. So it's kind of a pick and choose game, but still don't want to see anything besides everyone getting inside and riding these storms out from the safety of your home and continuing to stay updated here as I do cover this as it moves northeastward through not necessarily a Four Corners area, but still the areas where Dodge, Wheeler, Telfair, and Lawrence counties all kind of touch. And this notch in Dodge County is where we're seeing lots of lightning, heavy rainfall, sizable hail upwards to severe levels. And once again, if I click the middle of this, just how big, we're talking 0.8, 0.9, close to an inch in diameter. So not as big as it once was, and hopefully it will continue to stay below that inch threshold, which is severe level hail. But obviously this warning's still going for another 33 minutes, I believe. Yes. And still lots of areas on the kind of northeastern portion of this polygon box that have not been impacted whatsoever yet, including areas to the southeast of Cadwell, southern Lawrence County. I'm going to see if I can really hone in on very local spots around this area. So yeah, pretty close to Rents, seeing Rents Road down here, Mayberry Road, Bowie Road, Moy Road, Oakdale Road, Sophie Domini Road, Lawton, Harrelson Road, all these areas in southern Lawrence County. So pretty rural areas. It does look to be majority, so that's good news. But then even stretching over into Wheeler County, not seeing too many road names, but Stuckey, Alamo, eventually Glenwood, Avant down over in the close to the Wheeler, Telfair County line, McRae also in northern Telfair, and then of course Jaybird Springs and the Chauncey area, seeing the areas of most intense rainfall. Also hail signatures right there. Does look like that's continuing to go down. So good news once again. We're going to keep our fingers crossed that that is the trend with this hail core. And then getting into this very, very southern edge of Lawrence County. So Highway 319 stretching from Dodge all the way down through Wheeler and Montgomery, or not Wheeler and Montgomery, Wheeler and Telfair counties, I believe, is, yes, around those areas. And stretching all the way up 319, which does go eventually to Dublin, just north of I-16. But not looking at this storm moving into the Dublin area whatsoever. I could see maybe some thunderstorm impacts clipping Dublin, but it is looking like this storm is moving in a general northeasterly direction that is going to avoid Dublin and Lawrence County, as well as Dexter and Dudley. So for any of you wondering that might be watching, you see, oh, severe thunderstorm warning for Lawrence. It does look to be south of you, and the risk will continue to be south of you. But areas further to the eastern portion of the county, so Lowry and then possibly Catlin, depending on how much this storm maintains its intensity, as it does continue to move through these 4 counties in our southeastern quadrant, or really 6 counties, if I think about it, with Dodge and Telfair as well. So those are going to be what we look on out for. All right. So one last update before I hop off the stream, and then I will be on 13 WMAZ here coming up at 5. Eastern Dodge County, this is where we're seeing the hail swath, but also not only the hail swath, gusty winds as well. So that's where you're seeing the bright, bright colors, the bright greens, the bright blues. That is indicative of winds upwards to about 60 miles an hour in nature. The hail, in terms of size, at its centermost point, this little green dot I can find, is going to be 0.7 of an inch in diameter, moving into this notch in Dodge County, just to the south of Lawrence County, pretty close to Highway 319, stretching all the way from Dublin down into Wheeler County. That is where the most intense portion of this severe thunderstorm warning is. Heavy rainfall, frequent lightning, gusty winds, and sizable hail associated with this. This warning goes for another 29 minutes. So I will continue. First thing I will do is hop on air and keep you updated on this severe thunderstorm warning if we've learned anything new. But wanted to give you all the parameters, those areas next impacted: South Lawrence County, 319, Highway 46, just to the south of Cadwell. But still, areas pretty close to this warning box include Cadwell, include Plainfield, include Lowry at the eastern or the northeastern edge, Glenwood, Alamo, Avance, McRae, Acord, Chauncey, and Jaybird Crossing. You are still seeing, or Jaybird Springs, excuse me, all seeing strong thunderstorm impacts. So that's what I'm going to leave you with right now. I'm going to hop off the stream, get a few things ready for the 5 o'clock show. I'll have the latest update on this severe thunderstorm warning as it rolls through Lawrence, Dodge, Telfair, and Wheeler counties. So thank you for tuning in right now.